I may run a FNaF channel, but my favourite franchise of all time is the Batman franchise. The movies are peak, well, most of them. It's got cool games, cool animations, cool TV shows, etc. However, my favourite adaptation of the Caped Crusader and the mythos is the Arkham version, just because of how insanely cool the universe is fleshed out, and the lore is just goated. Even its most recent installment, Batman Arkham Shadow, was amazing. We don't talk about Suicide Squad, however. Back to the point. There's been a theory thrown around since last year that says the Batman Arkham series takes place in the same continuity as the FNaF franchise. It has a lot of evidence that can mainly be found on the FNaF Theories wiki. Considering I wrote a lot of the evidence on that FNaFArkham page, I think it would be best to put it all in a video format. So that's what I'm doing today, folks. Just before we begin, make sure to like and subscribe as it would mean a lot, and if you want to, you can always change your mind in the future. With that said, let's dive into this. I think I should lay out a foundation first before starting, particularly the years the games take place, as I would just be repeating myself all the time. For the FNaF games, stuff like Secret Emerge and FNaF 4 minigames are easy, as they are confirmed to be in 1979 and 1983 respectively. Same with FNaF 2, which is in 1987. For FNaF 1, FNaF 3 and Screw Breach, I believe they are in 1993, 2023 and 2035 respectively. Pizzeria Simulator is in 2023 as well. I have videos already on the channel discussing the most likely years for those games, which I come to the conclusion that it's those years, so if you want a more in-depth analysis on them, link for those will be in the description. Sister Location and the FNaF 4 Nights happen between FNaF 1 and 3, and Help One of the Others don't really matter that much under this, but they take place after Pizzeria Simulator. Now for the Arkham games. At first, Arkham City seems to place the series around the 1990s, as there's a plaque on the wall which says Arkham City, opened by Mayor Quincy Sharp on November 19th, 19, and the rest of the numbers are scratched out. However, this has probably been retconned. Firstly, in the Arkham Origins trailer, which is canon due to Deadshot Sniper from the trailer being found in Origins in the same area where he shot from, there is a calendar with the year 2013 on it, which could be because Origins released that year. However, later games support this, as in Arkham Knight, you can find old boxes from 2008 on them, a pill bottle from 2015 in the Elliott Memorial Hospital, and Riddler talks about the late 20th century, like it was some time ago.
A Riddle Square, a puzzle which draws influence from both late 20th century puzzle cubes and mid-15th century torture devices.
Also in Arkham Shadow, which takes place 6 months after the events of Origins, there is a calendar in Ratcatcher's cell, which does actually correlate to 2014. Also, Ratcatcher is revealed to have been born in 1988, and considering his hair is greying, the series defo takes place post-2010s. But the 1988 year is probably reference to the year that the character debuted in comics. However, it does seem like Arkham has been shifted to take place in the 2010s and 2020s. And why they retcon this? No clue, honestly. It's likely that Arkham isn't even meant to have a time placement, as most Batman media takes place in a timeless environment. But as I said earlier, the one with the best evidence is 2010s and the 2020s, so that's what I'll be going forward with. With all that in mind, the years the games take place are Origins 2013, Shadow in 2014, Night will be in October 2023, as one of the firefighters in Line of Duty side mission says how Firefly hasn't attacked Gotham in 10 years, which is a reference to his attack on Pioneer's Bridge.
Firefly. That's who you were tracking.
That freak! He hasn't hit Gotham for what, 10 years? I remember my old man telling me about the attack on Pioneer's Bridge back in the day.
Also, Night is set on Halloween. Arkham City takes place around 9 months before Night, as Jim says in the Arkham Knight intro that 9 months ago, Joker was cremated.
9 months ago, Joker was cremated.
Joker's cremation was not that long after City, so Arkham City takes place in January 2023. Asylum is a little trickier to decipher. However, it takes place 18 months before Arkham City is established. And since we know Arkham City opened in November, as seen by that plaque on the wall I mentioned earlier, that would place Asylum around 2021. Plus, in Joker's audio file in Arkham Knight, Batman says how it's been 2 years since the events of Asylum.
2 years ago, I uncovered Joker's plot to unleash a genetically enhanced army on Gotham.
So yeah, Asylum is in 2021. There's also Arkham Origins Blackgate and Arkham VR. Blackgate takes place 3 months after Origins, as saved by Batman.
Gotham City is mine now. 3 months ago, I took down the deadliest villains it had to offer.
With Arkham VR, I've seen many people say it takes place the night before the events of Arkham Knight, but I can't find a source for this. But it does take place between City and Night. Okay, that's all the years done. Let's actually go through the evidence of FNaFArkham. The first piece of evidence is that William Afton, and maybe Henry Emily, could have been inspired by the Mechanical Guardians, who are advanced AI which existed in the 19th century while Wonder City was operational. This could make sense as to why the FNaF universe has advanced tech in the 80s and even the 70s, because the Arkhamverse is highly advanced, so that would carry over to the FNaF universe as well, since they are both in the same universe under this theory. Another piece of evidence is that Ra's al Ghul could have been behind the resurgence of Fazbear Entertainment after Henry disbanded it in Pizzeria Simulator when Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place burnt down. His motive behind this, you may ask? Well, think about it. If the ending in the Shadow War Season of 3 side mission, where Ra's gets cured, is the canon ending, then who would want to find a new source of immortality, since Batman is to destroy the last sample of it? It's possible he came across Remnant, which can grant someone immortality as implied by the novels and also the Dead by Daylight description of the Iridescent Remnant. And so it was most prominent in Hurricane Utah, so Ra's went there, rebooted Fazbear Entertainment, and is currently on the lookout for Remnant. It would actually make sense why Fazbear Entertainment is so rich from the start of the reboot, as Rage can provide limitless resources. If Mr. Burroughs is still canon, or Tales reboot is canon, since Tales games got debunked by Secret Mimic, and Burroughs originates from Tales, then it's possible Rage used Mr. Burroughs as lackey or pawn, similar to how he used Hugo Strange in Arkham City. What's funny is that Burroughs and Strange have the same word count, so you know it could imply a connection. Also, in Scary Reacher's DLC Ruin, Cassie comes across a lake with similar colours to the Lazarus Pit, which could mean Batman missed some of it, which he has done before with the Joker infected people. He thought he counted everyone with the Joker infected disease. However, as seen in Arkham Knight, he didn't do it, so it could be like that. Funny enough, there are mushrooms right next to this lake, which is similar to the Lazarus source in Arkham Knight, which also has mushrooms next to it. In Five Nights at Freddy's The Silver Eyes, there is a character named Jason who wears a Batman t-shirt in the book. He also shares the same name as the second Robin, Jason Todd. So yeah, I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. Batman is apparently mentioned in the Tales from the Peace Book story Monster, and is implied to be after Pete Cerruto with him. So this doesn't necessarily mean it's a fictional character in the universe. Also, there is a character called Mr. Burton in the story, who could be a reference to director Tim Burton, who directed Batman 1989 and Batman Returns. Next piece of evidence is that in the Survival Logbook, Michael Afton draws himself as a superhero shooting lasers from his eyes at Freddy Fazbear. Sound familiar? This superhero trope is popular from Superman, who exists in the Arkhamverse. Mike and Batman also have many similarities. Both characters feel immense guilt from their past. Both are the main protagonists of their respective series. Mike is the protagonist with just a click to your but he's still, you know what I mean. Both characters exercise and know how to fight. If you saw my analysis video, you saw I brought this page up when talking about the logbook, which could mean it's a joke about running away from the pizzeria and returning to fight the animatronics, but you might be able to fight, who knows. Both make sarcastic remarks, both character stories end in a fire, Suicide Squad isn't canon, and finally, both have blue eyes. In a Tales from the Peace Book story, Didophobia, Rory gets induced by hallucinogenic gas that makes her see the nightmare animatronics, which are actually mannequins in the story. This sounds very similar to the fear gas Scarecrow uses, meaning this could be some prototype version of it. In fact, I've just thought of this. In Arkham Shadow, Crane first comes up with the gas sometime before the events of the game. It's called Project Umbra. If Didophobia takes place 90s/2000s as implied, and Arkham Shadow is in 2014, this means that Crane was inspired by William Afton and not the other way around. This would mean that Afton is indirectly responsible for most of the events of the entire Arkham series, and Scarecrow's actions in the game, and Harvey Dent's transformation into Two-Face and Scarecrow was responsible for that. Wow, that's cool to be honest. Another piece of evidence is that William Afton could have helped fund a militia, and we know outsiders chipped in because implied Lex helped the funding. Afton may have helped Riddler with creating his robots too. However, these points are unlikely because if Arkham Knight is in 2003, that would mean Afton is either still in the safe room, or he's out of Fazbear Fright, he books a plane ticket whilst in Springtrap, goes to Gotham, which is in New Jersey, and pitches in with his money, then returns back to Utah, and the events of Pizza Sim take place. I mean, like, bro could have just sent them the money digitally, but then, like, you think Afton in his Springtrap form's gonna do that? Yeah, this point is unlikely. In the Fazbear's Fright story, Step Closer, one of the characters references Wonder Woman, who exists in the Arkhamverse. In Arkham Origins, there are extortion tapes that can be listened to. One of them is on Lieutenant Brandon's character profile. In the tape, Commissioner Loeb tells Brandon he will receive a call from a third party, and the guy goes by the code word facade.
Run that past me again? It's very simple, Brandon. Sometime in the coming days, you may receive a call from a third party requiring your services.
Like a private contractor?
Precisely.
Okay, why?
Let's call it an investment against future favors.
And how am I supposed to know the guy?
He will identify himself with the code word facade.
What is that? French?
It doesn't matter. What's important is that you remember it.
All right, facade. Got it.
This could be William Afton, who is known for doing many fake names and fake aliases in the franchise, such as Dave Miller in The Silver Eyes, Steve Flaggen in the FNaF movie, and he probably did a fake name in FNaF 2 when he was the guard before Jeremy Fitzgerald. The timeline could also line up, as Funway is implied to take place in 2015 or the mid-2020s now, especially if Vanessa is actually an Afton in the games. Why he's in business with Loeb and Brandon? No clue. However, there is a Batman villain called Facade, so it could be a reference to that, to be honest. In Arkham Knight, Batman has a gadget called the Voice Synthesizer, which can mimic people's voices, such as Harley Quinn, Simon Stagg, and Jason. This could have been made using the stable version of the Mimic program created by Edmund Murray. A minor piece of evidence is that Steelwall Studios follow Rocksteady on Twitter. Another bit of evidence is that since Gotham is in the state of New Jersey, which is on the east coast of America, and FNaF is in Utah, which is a landlocked state on the west side, this could make sense as to why Batman doesn't interfere with the events of FNaF. Plus, he might even know about the establishment and is just too busy dealing with the threats in Gotham. As I said earlier, Arkham Shadow is the latest installment in the Arkham franchise, being released on October 21st, 2024. The game might also be called Shadow as a callback to the Shadow animatronics, and as well as the theme of one shadow in the game as well. In the game, Batman, while under the effects of Project Umbra, faces against his shadow, who is officially called Shadow Batman. I am not making this shit up. It could also be likely as an agony being. Furthermore, in Arkham Shadow, there is something that watches you whilst Malone, Bruce Wayne's alias, is transferred to Blackgate. It's heavily implied this is Shadow Batman, which could also mean he's an actual being. Hell, it could even be Shadow Freddy himself taking on a different form. This is because they both have a similar colour palette, and he also has purple eyes, which could connect back to Afton, whom Shadow Freddy is associated with. Shadow Freddy, while being stronger, thanks to Project Umbra, is tormenting Batman with his parents' death, the no-cure rule, etc., similar to how Nightmare does it to Michael Afton, since he's the Dreamer, and Nightmare is Shadow Freddy. Also in this game, it's implied possessed objects exist, as Scarface, well, he's called Woody in this game, was created from a tree in Blackgate that was responsible for many executions and hangings in the prison. The reason why Woody might be haunted is because when you go into detective vision whilst Woody is speaking, the doll is the one where the voice is coming from, not Wesker or Donegan, the actual fucking doll.
Gotta escape. Cell's too small. Need help. Need a friend.
So yeah, possessed objects might exist in the Arkhamverse, which also matches with FNaF, for obvious reasons. 3 minor pieces of evidence is that a Batman arcade machine can be spotted behind this image of Coriolis Kinchin and Scott Cawthon. The movie Batman vs Superman is parodied in Freddy in Space, and one of the official concept arts for the Final Fantasy ride, proposed by Sally Corporation, has Jack Nicholson's Joker on one of the arcade cabinets. In FNaF AR, there's a clown Springtrap skin for, well, Springtrap. This could be a reference to Joker. Also, this skin reappears in Dead by Daylight. Furthermore, Atom and Joker have some parallels to each other. For example, both are associated with purple. William is seen smiling in most of his sprite designs, which is similar to Joker, who's smiling 24/7. Both are obsessed with immortality. Arkham Joker wanted to get into the Lazarus Pit. Both characters always come back, to the point where there's literally a trope called Joker immunity made specifically for villains who always come back from the dead. Both characters are obsessed with their heroic counterparts, Batman and Henry Emily respectively. Additionally, their respective children come back from the dead, while in Arkham, Joker just shoots Stacy in the area where he's almost the strongest, so he doesn't actually die, but still. Assuming Glitch Afton, the theory that William Afton is Glitch Trap, which is unlikely since Mimic has better evidence, Bandit is William's sidekick, which is similar to Harley being Joker's. Both Fanny and Harley are similar in a way, as they're both being manipulated by their master. Also, both Harley and Vanessa have blonde hair. Similarly, in Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, before Joker's death, he puts a chip in Tim Drake's head, which allows for his digital consciousness to return decades later. Both Joker and Afton are considered masterminds, and also both are pure evil. A minor bit of evidence is that Arkham Knight released on June 23rd, 2015, and FNaF 4 released exactly 1 month later on July 23rd, 2015. This could imply a connection. In Arkham Asylum, there is an orderly called Mike who works at the medical facility in Arkham Asylum. This could be Michael Afton, and what's more weird is that this is the only named generic orderly, and his last name is unknown, which can imply some importance to the character. Another thing that was on the evidence originally was that Monty could have been inspired by Killer Croc. However, due to secret mimics showing Monty exists in the 70s, which would be decades before Croc was even born, this is unlikely. Now that's all the evidence I wrote down on the wiki a while back. Now for some evidence that isn't on there yet, so think of this as a bonus. In FNaF Secret Mimics Moon.exe minigames, you can find an owl mask. This could be a reference to the Court of Owls, who are a secret society within Gotham that's existed for centuries and are basically the bottom of the iceberg when it comes to corruption in Gotham City. They do exist in the Arkham series, as in Origins. You can see a poem about the Talons in Pioneer's Bridge, and also in the Royal Hotel, there are 2 statues depicting the Talons. They are also even referenced in Arkham Shadow by Anarchy.
So far, like your Gotham Illuminati and their zombie assassins. No, I never said they were zombies. They were pumped so full of drugs, they kept coming after you shot them. The GCPD's redacted files spell it out, Lonnie.
Sometime recently, the Mimic graphic novel was leaked and was kinda shit, to the point where it was literally cancelled. However, there are panels in it which are a blatant copy of the Death in the Family comic panels. This can imply another Batman FNaF connection. Now, let's go through the problems of this theory. There are no problems. This theory is too peak. Overall, this video is a joke, don't take it seriously, I'm just pissing about. The only serious part was that Arkham timeline I made, which could be likely, but I don't know at this point. However, I hope everyone enjoyed the video regardless. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for more FNaF videos. Also like the video as well. Anyways, I'll see you on the flip side I guess. Goodbye!